Mic check, mic check. This thing on?
It's on. Can
You
you
locked
hear me?
in?
I'm locked in. Are you?
Let's roll. What's up, Pete?
Oh, man, I'm living the dream. What are you doing?
Chilling, man. Just trying to wash the skunk off me.
Yeah, let's start there.
Yeah.
What
let's
in the world
start
are
there.
you doing wrestling with skunks?
Oh, man. Welcome back to Pod on the Run. I'm Ross. He's Peter. Episode 6. We've got a real special guest we'll get to in a moment. But first, crazy stuff just happened yesterday up on Guardian Trail. Coming around a corner, here's some rustling about. And I'm thinking, that's not a squirrel. That's something a little bigger. And right to the left is a skunk. And I've kind of gone past it. It's scurrying up the hill. And it's got its tail shot up straight in the air. And all I see is yellow.
Oh, no,
And
Ross.
I'm thinking, okay, is that spraying?
Yep.
And I've always got my phone out. I'm always filming, but this one particular time, I don't have my phone out filming, which is the first thought that goes in my mind.
Oh, Ross,
no,
missed opportunities,
I
man.
know, I should be documenting this. And then I get about, I don't know, a quarter mile, smelling my skin, smelling my watch, smelling my arm. Yeah, skunk. Now I'd kind of taken off in front of the crew, wait for Neil. Neil rolls up and goes, "Did you get sprayed?" Because I smelled the skunk. Oh, and then get back to the car, and Kale and John are like, yeah, that smelled like a fresh skunk. First for everything. I got sprayed by a skunk yesterday on Guardian Trail, dude.
Well, congratulations.
Yeah, thank you.
You know what's wild about skunks, and I didn't know this until my dog got sprayed a couple times. That skunk spray is oil.
Yeah.
So, like, I don't know what kind of experience you had getting the funk off of you, but like with dog fur, that stuff just stays on their fur and gets mixed in their fur, and you have to make like a weird concoction of baking soda and soap, and it takes it's not fast to get rid of that smell. So sitting about 3 or 4 feet from you right now, you don't smell. So whatever you did worked.
Yeah, dude. I learned all about the right concoction yesterday. And yeah, my skin did have a strange oily feel to it, which was weird. But I rolled into Safeway, grabbed the white vinegar, the tomato juice, made sure I had some baking soda and hydrogen peroxide, and I was in line buying the stuff and asking the clerk, like, do I smell like a skunk? And he was like, no, I don't smell anything. This lady behind me was like, no, I can't smell. Then I'm like, all right, maybe it's not too bad. I roll to the coffee shop, Sweet Bean, and I roll in there to order a smoothie, and I get right up to the cash register, and the lady's like, ew, like, you smell. And I was like, no, all right, guess maybe it is bad.
Yeah.
Wait for my smoothie. I should have gone through the drive-thru at that point, but I waited in the store, in the shop there. And as I'm driving away, the lady's like opening the side door, propping open the front door. So, dude, it was terrible, man. It was pretty embarrassing, but
Just another Sunday.
yeah. And then I rolled home and put all the stuff in the tub and soaked in it for about a half an hour with my clothes and stuff in the sink, soaking in the same concoction that I made. FaceTime my dad. My dad is like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Like, why are you in the bathtub? I
Yeah,
was
do
like,
not FaceTime me from the bathtub, Ross.
obviously it's just my face, but yeah, I had to tell him the story, dude. And he's laughing at me like, well, you're the first field that got sprayed by a skunk. And I've got this vivid picture in my mind of the yellow, right? The yellow that I saw. And so I'm thinking about that, like, okay, well, why did I see yellow? So I'm doing a little research, and mind you, my, education on skunks and what goes down when they spray is not up to speed. I haven't really thought about it that much, And I come to find out that, like, put on your earmuffs now, hide your wives, hide your kids, but they literally protrude anal glands and they shoot the yellow secretion from that.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, that was when I was like, okay, it's official. I definitely got sprayed because I remember seeing the yellow, dude. It's just like vivid memory in my mind. It's crazy.
Well, I'm sorry that happened. At the same time, it makes for a really good story.
Yeah, it's
and
pretty funny.
You bring this up. I don't know that I've ever seen a skunk in Upper Park. So that's kind of wild to me. I mean, I'm sure they've always been there, but I've never come across one. I've seen coyotes. Still haven't seen a mountain lion or a bear, but plenty of snakes this year and other various rodents and things that I'm not real fond of. Lizards, yeah. But dude, that's insane.
It's insane, dude.
But I'm glad you don't smell today, because
Thank
this room that we record in is not big, and it would have been really unfortunate if you were still smelling skunky.
Yeah, I went hard. Washed a few times. Sat in the tub later on. Showered up. Washed my clothes a few times in the sink. Then ran a load of laundry. The only thing that's bad is my hydration vest. And it's like the back of the vest.
Not the purple one?
Yeah, the purple strings. It's got the, and I think that's because, like, the skunk was over my left shoulder as I was passing by it. So as it was spraying, I think, like, where my vest was, the back of my vest was, like, directly in the sight of spray, or the line of spray, if you will. So, yeah, but it's not too bad. My car's a little bad. I didn't think about that.
Yeah.
So
might need to take it to that place on Skyway that does like the deep clean of the interior.
Oh, classic, dude.
Yeah.
Oh, what a time. Well, yeah, pretty funny.
Yes. I don't want to one up you, but I got stung by a bee yesterday. And that's the end of the story. Sometimes, like you said, running stinks. Sometimes it stings.
Dude, your Strava caption was so funny.
That's how it goes these days. Yeah. Anyways, let's get down to some business. We got some good stuff going on today. I'll let you give the official introduction here.
Oh, dude.
Taking it back to your sportscasting days.
Okay. All right. Well, I mean, this is big time. What a treat. I mean,
100%.
This is absolutely honored to have a very special guest in studio. We've talked way too long about skunks. We got to get into the good stuff right now.
The rest of this will not stink.
Yeah, nice. Well played. So we want to introduce a powerhouse in the endurance running world, a local legend in Chico, somebody who's very special to the community, somebody who's a huge inspiration when it comes to running locally and has an incredible list of ultra achievements. Let's get into them. Second place at the Bigfoot 200 endurance run in 2024, 200 miles and 50 hours and change. That's amazing. 10th overall at the Canyons 100 miler, 32nd overall at the Cocodona 250, first place at the No Hands 50K, sixth place at the Quicksilver 100K, third place at the Stover State 50 miler, hanging with his best buddy Kyler. We'd like to welcome Logan Ziegenmeyer into the studio. How's that for a list of achievements?
It's amazing.
It's amazing. Yeah, thanks, Logan. Thanks for dropping in and sharing a little time with us.
Yeah, what's going on, guys?
Chilling.
I'm just happy to be here. The energy's like electric, so I'm feeling the vibes. I got the chills.
Yeah, that's
We're
awesome.
Talking running, like what better way to just have a nice evening with you guys? That's for sure.
Well, again, like Ross said, we really appreciate you taking some time out of your busy life and training schedule to come chop it up with us today. Ross gave a short list of some of your running accomplishments. I mean, like, really, that's only a handful of the things that you've done in the last few years with your running. I think I met you probably close to a year ago now, BRC, maybe at a race in the park before that at some point, crossing paths. And one thing that stood out to me from the beginning, and this will probably be a theme that comes up throughout this little chat, is how friendly and outgoing you are within our running community. Sometimes when you are dealing with, and take this in the spirit in which it's intended, when you are dealing with someone who's at the peak of a field or really high up in their abilities in a field, whether, we were talking about Kobe Bryant, right? Kobe was at the peak of his game, kind of hard to be around. Michael Jordan has this history of being hard to be around. Excuse me. Barry Bonds, when he was at the peak of his baseball skills, was very hard to be around. And there's none of that when it comes to you, right? We have these runs. You're talking to everybody. You're very friendly. You're not intimidating at all, like some athletes can be, especially high-level athletes can be, right? They're very singularly focused, and that doesn't come across at all when we get to run with you.
Well, that's great to hear, because I definitely don't want to come by as someone to that's not willing to like hang around and chat and stuff. I'm definitely someone that enjoys the social aspect of being around a community like we have now. And, racing is awesome. And what I have done in the past is cool, but really, I have a competitive side of me that's,
yes,
gritty.
we want to take a deep dive into that.
Those feelings come out when we're deep into, a 24-hour race or something like that. But, when I'm involved in community and everything else, like in this running whole world, I love everybody. I love being around everybody. I love hearing everybody's stories. And ultimately, racing's one thing, but community is another thing. And it's more important to me to be someone that contributes and is friendly to everybody and sees everybody's achievements as amazing in their own feats. So
awesome.
Yeah, that's really cool. It seems to me like you've got the ability to flip the switch when you need to flip the switch.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
Dig into that competitive moment.
Yeah.
It's time.
Yeah.
It's time to go to work. One thing we didn't mention was that you qualified for UTMB 2025, one of the most prestigious ultra races in the world. It's coming up soon, man. Tell us about it.
It's about a month and 20 days away. I'll be flying over the old pond to do a 100-mile loop around a crazy mountain. And between France, Italy, and Switzerland, we'll be hitting all those countries on this one specific race, and doing a little bit of climbing, about 36,000 feet of climbing.
Just a little bit.
Just a little
No
bit.
big deal.
So, last year I wanted to run Canyons 100-mile. It was its second year, and Canyons was the world major for UTMB after they kind of transitioned to this new way of qualifying for their, basically what you say, like it's like the Super Bowl. UTMB is like the Super Bowl of trail running. And being a world major, it gives you, so you get stones at these races, these UTMB races. Well, it was a major, so you get double the stones. So instead of 4 stones at a regular race, I got 8 stones. So it just gives me an extra chance to get into UTMB in the future.
So are the stones like a way of weighting your qualifications for the race?
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like you got to have a stone and a UTMB index score to get into a lottery. So the index score used to be the old way of kind of qualifying, and they still run it by that as well. It's kind of like a ultra sign up percentage. You know how they give you, you're in like the 80 or 70% percentile runners. Well, like I'm at 6, it's out of 1,000 points, and I'm at 661. So it's all these races that I've done in the past were UTMB qualifiers. They didn't have stones back then, but they give you a score on how you did, how you placed in there, and then ultimately those scores add up, and then depending on how deep the field was and so on. It's a little confusing, but
but there's people behind the scenes that keep track of all that stuff.
No, 100%. Yeah.
What are these infinity stones?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like,
seriously,
are they like literal stones that you get?
So you get these stones from these races now, and
so they are a physical stone.
No, they're not a physical.
Okay,
I wish they were.
Yeah, right.
Actually, because that
right.
I'm not gonna lie.
Get the infinity glove.
Like at the end of the race, they give you just 8 stones.
Yeah,
like that would be actually super cool.
It would be.
I would cherish those.
Yeah.
But so I ran Canyons. I was able to had a stellar day. It was a beautiful course.
Where is Canyons?
It's down in Auburn, California, but it starts up at China Gulch, which is just above Forest Hill. Okay. So you go up to Forest Hill, and then you keep driving like you're heading up to Michigan Bluff and basically the high country, and then there's one area called China Gulch. You run down China Gulch into the canyons part of Western States.
Got it.
And then you hop on the Western States course, and then you run the rest of the Western States course all the way down to the river where Western States usually crosses the river, but we actually stay on the Forest Hill side. Okay. We don't cross the river until we get to the confluence, which is basically down by the tallest bridge in America now. It's like the Forest Hill Bridge. It's like the tallest bridge. But the confluence is down there where No Hands Bridge is.
Okay.
And then you climb up out of that, which they call the Training Hill, up to Cool, California.
I know Cool.
Cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which a lot of people will probably race there. There's so many races down there. Yeah, and then you go up to Cool, do a loop in ALT, which is on the Cool side as well, which is kind of part of Western States, and then come back, climb cross No Hands, climb Roby Point, and then you're finished in downtown Auburn. So it's almost got that Western States vibe, but a little bit different. You spend a little bit more time on the Cool side exploring, but so yeah, eventually I was like 20th place or whatever going into that mile like 60, and then picked up my brother, and didn't really think I was feeling good. Well, I had a low coming down to the river, and then I popped out of the low, and there was like a storm. It was raining. It was it was hot, and then it rained, and then it was hot. It was kind of all over the place.
Wow.
And then picked up my brother, he paced me for like 12 miles, and then picked up my other friend for the last 25. And I ended up passing, I got down to like 16th place, and I ended up passing 6 people in the last 25 miles.
Wow.
And then found out with like 5 miles to go, my buddy pulled the tracker up, and he's like, dude, you're in 10th place. And at the time, I was just like, okay, I just got to keep my head grinding, because I knew I was like, well, if I get 10th, then I get the auto entry into UTMB.
Yeah.
And then we make it to Roby Point, climbed up, and then just sprinted down to the finish in downtown Auburn. And yeah, I got 10th place. And the 23K was just about to start too. And they were just about to start, and the mayor of Auburn was like doing a speech, and I was running in, and I just like collapsed at the finish line. And everybody was cheering. It was actually really cool though.
I can imagine.
Yeah, it was
Epic
cool.
timing.
And then 10th place, and was able to get that auto entry.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
So you're gonna head over to UTMB. You mentioned earlier when we were talking before we started recording that you're taking like a whole team with you for this.
Yeah, got the whole crew, got the whole family. My brothers, my parents, my wife, and her mother-in-law, or my mother-in-law, and
her mother-in-law.
Yeah,
as a matter
and
of
her
fact.
mother-in-law. Yeah. So the moms are coming, which I keep going back and forth, because it's like they've crewed me a little bit at a 100-mile, but it's when it comes down to logistics and crewing, it's like I just want my wife and my brother. Like that's it. Sure. Because when you start adding more people, they just don't understand. Like my mom's always like, "Oh, we could just go do this," and Kylie's like, "No, this is what you got. You one aid station, you go to the next. We have a spreadsheet of times. You do not want to miss Logan, because he's not going to be happy."
Well, and it's crucial for you to get there and get the food, get the socks, get the shirt, get what you need, whatever it is. And you don't want to be farting around there for longer than you need to.
Yeah. So I'm happy the family's going and everything.
It's going to be awesome.
It's going to be an adventure, that's for sure. They're not going to probably go to most of the aid stations, because you got to get a shuttle pass, which I bought a shuttle pass, and it's the only way they could get to the aid stations is through a shuttle, because these towns are so small that
you can't have all these people just rushing in. They tell
everybody to not drive, like don't rent cars, use the shuttles, because it's just an absolute. There's 2,500 runners running this race, so 100-mile like canyons. There's only 300, 375. I've never run in a field with more than 2,000 people in it. So and then they don't allow pacers
at all.
Because there's that many people out there. Crazy. And whether it's different in Europe with permitting compared to US, like US, they're pretty like strict on permits and how many people can be on the trail. Like Western States, it's got to be 366 or however many numbers it changes from year to year. But the permits are so strict here compared to Europe. They have trails everywhere that are, and their permits could accept thousands of people on the trails. Yeah. So it's pretty insane. So no pacers. So brother's just gonna come. They're just gonna come cheer me on, and it'll be cool to do it with no pacers. Yeah. It'll be a different experience.
Do some soul searching out
there. Yeah, for sure.
Do you have a goal in mind for this race? I mean, you said it's got massive climbing to it. Like, how can you even come up with a goal?
Yeah, it's really hard to kind of come up with a goal time, honestly. It's, you know, I can't really compare it to anything. Like, just like every trail race I've done, it's so hard to compare different races. Just the terrain, the altitude, the heat, you know, the weather. It just all
snow.
plays the snow, the factors just weigh so heavily. But I could kind of compare it to Bigfoot in a way of, I've done this amount of climbing. I've done, you know, Bigfoot had like 35,000 feet and Cocodona had 32,000. So I've done this amount of climbing, but not in this short of a time. So those are 200-mile races and this is a 100-mile race. So it's going to be quite a bit difference. In terms of how my intensity is going to be. Yeah. And pacing. But I'm shooting for, 24 hours would be like a grand slam for me.
Okay.
For sure. Like, I'd be over the moon if I got there. Anywhere probably right around 27, 28 I'm probably predicting.
Okay.
So maybe 24 to 28 range is probably
great.
Yeah. What I'm shooting for.
Maybe we should take a step back and start from the beginning of all this, because we know what the next goal is with running, what the next race is, but this didn't just happen in a week or a month or a year, right? This goes back a long time.
Yeah, it does. And I like that you transition that way. And we're coming out of a situation where we're discussing your family that's going to be overseas with you. We want to take it back to young Logan. Like, you grew up in Sutter, California, a beautiful little city near Yuba City, out in the country, good spot. Used to travel down to Sutter and cover high school football when I was covering sports for Action News Now, and there were always some dogs down in Sutter. You knew you were getting into serious football country, and they had some good teams, played some good football. But what was young Logan like? Tell us about growing up in Sutter.
Well, Sutter being, smallest mountain range in the world, Sutter Buttes, town of like 2,000 population when I was elementary school. Sutter was awesome. Community was so awesome, and it's definitely nothing like Chico. But we would ride around on bikes. We would know where everybody lived, so everybody was pretty tight knit. Like, everybody knew what everybody was doing, kind of thing. But I just had so many friends and people that I grew up with in Sutter, and a little rice farming community, and it was just it was a great place to have grow up in a family environment. And but the one thing with Sutter was there was no, like, when I come up to Chico, there was no outdoors activities, like in terms of hiking or like trail running or anything like that. So, coming up here is just a lot different. But growing up in Sutter is definitely awesome. It definitely shaped me into who I am today, for sure.
And you've got one brother, two brothers?
Yeah, I got two older brothers. We're all 4 years apart. So yeah, we all played football at Sutter, and yeah, that's pretty much what we did, is play football. Like, that's what our whole life was. like if you lived in Sutter, you're playing football for sure. Like, start when you're like in 6th grade, Pop Warner, Pee Wee's, all the way up to high school. Like, that was, Sutter is just all about their football. So yeah.
Well, it's really good, prestigious school too, right? Like, football tradition of success. Winning section titles. Now the state playoffs have expanded, and they've kind of jumped to the Sac Joaquin section, I believe, but they used to be in the northern section. Yeah, and it would run roughshod on a bunch of people, like left and right, and always, be a part of really successful, seasons. And what were your, years like playing varsity football for Sutter. Did you played running back and linebacker, and did you guys win and dominate?
Yeah, I mean, ever since like Pop Warner, my class was, I mean, even in Pop Warner we won back-to-back championships when I was really young. So I got really used to like a competitive like football team that always won, and just growing up in that environment. And then my brother's teams, both of my brother's team, they both won section titles, like, and pretty much every class above me won section titles. And then when it got to my class, we won one, and then the class below us, we won another one. And it was just a lot of winning. It was a lot of winning. And we did lose 1 year when I got pulled up junior year or sophomore year. And that was the one section championship we lost. But other than that, it was very competitive, very like you're in the weight room. Like we started hitting the weight room like when I was in 8th grade, like Sutter High School weight room. My brothers would be in there all summer long. I'd grow up, we'd go to the jamborees and the Sutter camps, the football camps out there in 100-degree weather, that's what I grew up in is in that environment of like, this sucks, but we're out here playing football and we love football. Like,
this is kind of exactly what Ross and I were imagining when we were, getting ready to talk with you about all this stuff. Was like, there's no chance that Logan comes from not working his ass off and just pushing his body to the extremes and being beat up physically and mentally to doing this kind of running. Like, you don't just fall into this on accident, right? You get there because you are ready for this type of thing. So to hear that you went through all this stuff, starting at a young age, is not surprising. And I think it probably, and you can attest to this, set you up to be this kind of runner.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Yeah. No, with the help of my brothers, kicking my ass day in and day out and just bullying me throughout my whole life and pushing me. And then going through hell weeks and Sutter football and being out there in pads in 100+ degree weather during hell weeks.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what we thrived on, and we loved it. We hated it, but we loved it. And we're sprinting, we're doing wind sprints out on the field, and just going into the weight room with no AC and just sweating it out and really loving the atmosphere of football and yeah.
Right. Well, and it's getting lost in the process, right? It's not worrying about what the end point is. It's let's get focused on what we're trying to achieve today in our training, whether it's a weight session or going out and working on blocking and hitting and running all the plays or whatever it is. It's focusing on that so that when you get to the time when you need to do all that stuff, it's second nature and your body is ready for it. Your mind is ready for it. I just imagine, Ross, we were kind of joking about this, but can't you imagine Logan at practice, coach finally blowing the whistle and saying, "Damn it, Ziegenmeyer, quit hitting everybody so hard. We got a game in 2 days." Did those kind of conversations ever happen?
It's funny you say that because it has happened, but there were so many people on my team that would hit even harder. And like if I wasn't hitting hard, other people were hitting me hard. And it was like a back and forth, practice was rough. So it gave you that next, skin, just leather skin to just build that hide off of, because you had to have it, to be out there on that field and take hits, give hits, and just not give up on any play,
Yeah.
So that's basically, Sutter always, if you went to Sutter, your standard, they set your standard up here. So you got to be up here. And if you're not up here, they're going to shape you into someone that's going to be up there.
Yeah.
And it's always been like that. Everybody always had it out for us constantly, competitively. So everybody wanted to beat us. So we always had the mentality of like, okay, we have to win this game, like no matter what, like, because no matter who it is, if they beat us, it's just demoralizing. Like,
yeah.
Doesn't matter how many wins or losses they have. If they beat us, it's a championship game for them.
Totally.
For
totally
sure.
is.
It's amazing. Shaping your mental and physical toughness. So got to ask real quick, would you prefer or did you prefer running back or linebacker?
I really liked running back. I did like linebacker for a while, like rover, outside linebacker, just because you could really lay some hits without anybody looking.
Logan, a heat-seeking missile.
But running back was just something that I think more of my running background kind of relates to, because every time I got the ball, it just felt like I knew what I needed to do in terms of running. And like, I think I contribute a lot of my running today is like being a running back and looking back and, you know, having these long runs and touchdowns. And I'm like, wow, I actually do have some running legs here. And maybe it's just short distance, but I never knew. I thought I'd be running these long distance, you know, but I did love running and with the football. Yeah. I enjoyed that the most, honestly.
Well, speaking of which, I mean, what sparked the shift from football to endurance running?
You know, it took a long time after I graduated high school and went to college and partied and, you know, did all that crazy stuff for a while where I didn't really do. I think the football at Sutter kind of burnt me out for a while. And after a while, I didn't do any, you know, I did weightlifting here and there, ran like 2 miles up to the, you know, Sutter water tower from my house every once in a while. But once I like went through college and then graduated and then I moved back like 7 years ago is when I started to kind of really start running a little bit further. But it wasn't until after I started doing CrossFit. So I came back. I was living on the road. I was working as a welder on the road. And then I came back and I was like, you know, I'd always want to do this CrossFit stuff. I've never done it before. It looks really cool. And like, I just kind of like the different modalities and different movements of CrossFit. And, you know, I see a lot of people just getting super fit. And then once I got into CrossFit, Upper Park CrossFit in Chico, I found all these people that pushed themselves to their limits in these workouts. And I'm like, this is crazy. And like, I really kind of like this, you know, and it was all individual based. Like I'm so used to working with a team, you know, football or team sports, that it gave me more satisfaction that I'm working on my own fitness and health journey. And I'm seeing the results as I'm doing CrossFit, you know, for the next couple of years. And I see these people and these bodies changing and getting stronger. And I see me getting stronger and you know, doing these crazy workouts, it put me into the well of like the pain cave, you know, you really, if you want to dig deep and, you know, see changes, it's going to hurt, you know, in some way or form. And I knew if I wasn't sore or I wasn't out of breath or laying on the ground in the CrossFit gym, gasping for air, like I knew it wasn't a good workout. And that was just my mentality. I don't know if it was everybody else's, for sure, probably not. But I was like, I pushed myself more than I have ever pushed on the football field in this CrossFit gym. And then after that, I started running. And then, you know, I added running into the CrossFit stuff. And then eventually I found someone that was like, hey, you want to do a 50-mile ultra? And I was like, yeah, that sounds freaking insane. And it was up in Mount Shasta. And I was like, let's freaking do it.
Yeah.
You know, because at the time we were both strong. We were doing CrossFit. We were like, dude, we could do this. Like, you know, I was probably running maybe like max 20 to 25 miles a week. And so we went and did that. And then that kind of just, boom, exploded. And ever since I've been like, okay, I love long endurance stuff. Like I loved how it felt after I was wrecked. Yeah. Couldn't even walk. But it was amazing.
So this is a book that I've read and I've shared a bunch of it with Ross. It's called What I Talk About When I Talk About Running. And you just said something about pain. And I happen to have a chunk marked off in here that I wanted to like share with you guys today, because I thought, oh, I bet Logan will have something to say about this, or Ross will be able to relate to this. And it says, of course it was painful, and there were times when emotionally I just wanted to chuck it all. But pain seems to be a precondition for this kind of sport. If pain weren't involved, who in the world would ever go to the trouble of taking part in sports like the triathlon or the marathon, which demands such an investment of time and energy? It is precisely because of the pain, precisely because we want to overcome that pain, that we get that feeling through this process of really being alive.
Oh, 100%.
Right? Yeah. That you said it, Ross brings it up all the time. It's that pain cave where you got to find a way to get through it, because no one's going to pull you out of it. So I think that's cool that it was the pain and pushing yourself that brought you into all of this. And, you know, clearly the background in football and getting your ass kicked around.
Yep.
Or laying.
Or laying the smack on somebody has been a nice, like, it prepared you for this physically and emotionally to go out there and put yourself through that kind of
100%.
torture.
Yeah, I give all the credit to all those years in football. And getting pushed around and pushing people around and building, that tough hide to, you know, push through feats of 100 miles, you know, sleep deprivation, you know, things that I've never experienced until getting into the sport. And that's why I think it's probably one of the most amazing sports in the world, is ultra endurance athletes. I mean, what we put ourselves through is just absolutely extraordinary. And not even only elites, people in, you know, back of the pack, middle of the pack, like these people are pushing just as hard, and if not harder. And it's really mind blowing and so cool when you could look back and see like these people finishing these races, and you're just like, this is insane that we're out here doing this, and we love to do this.
Yeah,
like,
and you're gonna do it again in a couple weeks.
Like, you right after this race is over, you're gonna be on ultra sign up looking for the next one.
Yeah.
Okay, how about this though? 200 miles, Bigfoot, and you were kind of just alluding to this, but hallucinations?
Yeah, I had a little bit of hallucinations. Nothing crazy, but I saw a couple people on the side of the trails that I thought were there playing cards, and definitely that was one of the only times I hallucinated pretty badly. Because I only slept during that race for a total of 15 minutes for 50 hours. So that was the second night, and other than that, I didn't hallucinate at Cocodona really at all. I slept a lot more there. I slept, I think, total of 3 hours over 90 plus hours or something. Yeah.
A lot more.
Yeah. But Bigfoot had a little bit of hallucinations, but once the sun rose the next day, like once you see that sunrise, it's like you could just get a breath of fresh air, and you get that second wind again, and you just feel alive, like you haven't been running like for 50 hours or whatever. It's super crazy. It's amazing. The craziest feeling. Like it's you get it in 100 miles too, for sure. But the 200 miles is just like, whoa, it's out there.
It's the legitimate runner's high.
Yeah. 100%.
That a lot of people are like, that doesn't even exist. Like how, like who runs long enough to like feel that good? Well, Logan does. And there's a handful of other people who also run that long. Where does this drive come from? Like, where is this motor to just like keep doing this? Like, you kind of touched on it, but like to just keep going back and doing this again and again and again. Like, how do you go run a 200-mile race a couple years ago and you're like, yeah, I think I'll do that again?
Yeah, you know, I really don't know where the drive really comes from, honestly. It comes from a lot of different factors. And, you know, when I was growing up in high school, I was kind of a, you know, dirtbag and, you know, drugs and alcohol and really got the worst of me in high school. I spent some time in the drunk tank a couple times, DUIs and MIPs and stuff like that really kind of like set me back as a young individual, like in my early 20s. And a lot of that, you know, I look back on and was just like, what was I like even thinking about, you know? And I honestly wasn't thinking. And, you know, but ultimately in the end, it's changed me so much for who I am. And this ultra, like this running has really fueled me mentally as well as physically, but more mentally in terms of like clearing my head of things that happened in the past for me and that ultimately I did to myself, and I have no one to blame. But this running has really given me a second life in terms of, you know, what could have happened to me in those situations that I put myself in. And ultimately, it's just made me a way better person as a friend or a brother or a son or a husband. It's just made me all around better person. So I think in that fact, it's just that alone has given me the drive to just keep doing it, because I love that the way it makes me feel. It's my addiction. You know, I quit drinking alcohol 2 years ago, and I don't do any drugs anymore. And you know, running's really like saved a part of me that I never knew I had. And it's been one of the most incredible journeys. And I think that's what helps me just get out the door every day is like, dude, I could be sitting at a bar or doing whatever, doing something stupid, getting in trouble. When out, you know, like last weekend, I was able to just go out and, you know, run 20 miles and just like not have to worry about anything like that, and just be like, wow, I'm out here actually living, you know, and, you know, this is the stuff I could be missing out on, but, you know, I'm glad I was able to kind of weasel my way out of a slump in a couple of years of my life.
Oh, hell yeah, Logan, dude. I mean, hats off. Congratulations to you, man. That you deserve a lot of respect for that. I think I've heard some like sports psychologists or like running experts indicate that like there's some relation between like people who've experienced trauma and then go out and like have success with endurance sports. There's something about like what you've been through or like what, you know, has happened to you. And then you develop this ability to push yourself and to keep kind of digging deep and going farther than other people go because of stuff that have happened to you or stuff that's happened to you. So, I mean, that's amazing, man. Like, thanks for being an inspiration. And, you know, the fact that you're doing what you're doing is a testament to the type of person you are, man. Like, that's special. Those moments when you're like digging deep in a race and it's the 50th mile and you're tired, like, what do you think about during those times when it's hard? Like when you're just like, dude, I want to stop right now, or I feel tired right now. I mean, those dark moments in races, what do you think about?
A lot of those dark moments, like I have a lot of like, you know, people that I look to, and that family members that have passed away, people that I've always looked up to, that help give me a second win to really be like, you're not in that much pain. Like, these people have been through way much more pain than you have, and you need to push through this, and they'll be proud of you if you push through this. Cause there's something in me to where like, I just don't quit. Like, I won't ever quit. I haven't DNF'd a race, but I tell Callie all the time, I'm like, I will never. She's like, you'll never DNF a race. I'm like, I will never. Yeah. Like, there's no quit in me, and I'll walk to the finish line if I have to. And, but a lot of those moments, I look back and I think of my uncle, my grandparents, people that have passed away tragically. And I think about those moments and I'm like, I don't hurt as much as what they've been through. And, in those moments that helps kind of drive me and give me my second win,
we've said this before, and, when you're in, and we'll get to your crazy training workouts soon, but, like when you're working out or you're in these races and you're in that place, like, I got to dig deep. One of the things that I always think of is I get to do this. right? Like I get to be out here running today, right? There's lots of reasons why people don't run or can't run, but I don't have those reasons right now. So I get to be out here working my butt off. Yeah, it's uncomfortable, but there's so many people who would like to be doing this that can't 100%. For whatever reason, right? So, and I think when our friends who listen to this podcast hear you share this side of what pushes you, again, I think Ross just said it. It's inspirational to hear it from you to say like, I'm pulling from the other people who prop me up, right? Just like we all do. And, just to hear it said out loud by someone who's running at such a high level and achieving such insane goals and, going for more is like, it's just, I think it's validating for us that we're working in the right direction as far as getting better at what we do, right? We might not ever get to this super elite level of running, but we can get to our own super elite level. And, the people that we run with around Chico can get to their own elite level, whatever that is for them.
Give me goosebumps, son.
Dude, exactly. That gave me goosebumps because that was like spot on. Yeah. Like it couldn't have been said any more like perfect in the way you put it. Because we get to do this every day. We get to do this, and we're blessed to be able to just go see this amazing park in our backyard.
Park.
I mean, like, when I started running in there, I'm like, what have I missed my whole life? Like, literally, I have dumbfounded on how like I've overlooked this amazing, city, and I'm like. Ever since then, it's like, I want to go see amazing trails everywhere. Like I want to, to get to do this is just, it's a true blessing. It really is. And, I see a lot of people, that don't have the chances to get to do this or live in communities that don't have, what we have. And I always try to share as much as I can and have people come up here, come trail run and hence, BRC, like getting more people out involved in trail running. It's huge, but yeah.
I'm glad you brought up BRC and our running community. And I think after this break, we should take a dive into BRC and training. But in the meantime, as usual, this break is brought to you by hydration. Drink some freaking water, drink some electrolytes, do something, but stay hydrated, man. Stay hydrated.
Stay hydrated.
We'll be right back.
Okay, welcome back. We mentioned BRC, which is the Bidwell Run Club.
Yep, you got the hat. Logan's got his shirt on today. I didn't get the memo about BRC.
You're missing out.
My bad. Oh, wait. I've got stickers.
Yeah, you do.
I've got a sticker on my water bottle. We're good.
Oh, man, it's a really, really special club. It's so fun to run with the BRC and to run with anybody in the club. You're one of the founders of BRC, I believe.
Yeah.
Tell us about it, Logan. Let's go.
It's always been a dream of mine here in Chico ever since I got into the really dive deep into the running is start a club. Ever since moving up here, community has always been like a huge thing for me. I've really grasped onto the community aspect of this city, and knowing that Chico Run Club was a thing for years, and I didn't vibe with kind of what they had going on in terms of the time I was running, because it was a little bit older crowd, and I was just they didn't post a lot of runs at the time, and they kind of didn't have like social media, and I think they had a Facebook, but I didn't really at that time I was running alone a lot of the times. I didn't really know a lot of people in the running community. So I knew at some point I was like, dude, it would be really cool to start a running club like with young, fresh-minded people that are motivated. Like it'd just be a dream. And then one day, was it? Yeah, last year. Yeah, was it last year? Yeah, it's been a year. I was running down Centennial for my house and got to Southroom Gate, and I see Jason O'Donnell there, and he's with a group of people, and I'm like, what are you guys doing? Like everybody's standing around the gate, and I'm like, and then Jess and Andrew and Manny and his wife and a couple other people of Jess's friends, I think from Florida, were there. And they're like, hey, we're Wednesday Night Run. And I was like, Wednesday Night Run? How come I've never heard of this? Like, I'm always like running. I'm running on Wednesday nights. I'm running to you guys. And no, and I was like, Jason, what is? He's like, I don't know. There's just a group that just started running on Wednesday nights. So I was like, what the heck? How did I miss this? And then they're like, well, come run with us. And I was like, all right, sweet. So we ran, did the normal loop, did the J Ford crossing, came back on, I think, Lower Trail, and then looped back around and talked to them for a while. And I was like, wow, this is really cool, and I talked to Jess and Andrew and Manny, and like just really genuine people that had that kind of same mindset and motivation to around community aspect and bringing people in and getting people into the trail running around here. And I was like, this could be actually something really cool. Like, I knew instantly, like, I think this might be people that want to start a run club. Like, this would be awesome. And then I got their numbers, and one day I was just texting them, and I was like, hey, would you guys want to start a run club? Like, and Wednesday, we'll do Wednesday night runs, and I'll join you guys. And they're like, dude, that would be awesome. And I was like, all right. And then that night, I think it was like a couple weeks after I did the Wednesday night run, I made the Instagram, and I just picked the name. I was like, Bidwell Run Club. And then I made the Strava. And I was like, all right, here you guys go. And then we just, all right, Bidwell Run Club. And then ever since, and then we were like, okay, we need to have like a logo. And then we, Andrew helped with the logo a lot, and we all pitched in, and we found this one. We're like, dude, that resembles a lot of, Upper Park, the canyons and the creek. And I was like, all right. And then boom, boom, boom. And the next thing you know, we have like 10 people showing up. 15 people showing up on Wednesday night runs. Yeah. And then soon enough, it was like, dude, there was like 20 people. And then it was like, where are these people coming from? Like, literally, our Instagram blew up. Our Strava started really blowing up. Like, the club on Strava was just insane. We gained like 100 plus people in a couple of weeks. And it was just like, whoa. And then we started posting pictures. We started, doing everything. And ever since then, we started the Tuesday women's ladies run. Jess did. She tackled that with Kristen, and Kristen kind of joined BRC, and she's like, I would love to do this. Yeah. And I was like, I would love for you to do it too. Like, come, you're a vital part of this community. Yeah. And
she knows everybody.
I'm like, all the girls, like, and you're a coach, how to structure a plan. Like, you have a lot of experience in this. Like, I would love for you to do it. And her and Jess just kicked it off, and it's just been running ever since for the Tuesdays, and Wednesday nights is just our staple. Yeah. And then we were doing Friday men's workouts. I was doing that for a while. And that
Which I heard rumors that might be coming back in some kind of iteration. Yeah. You don't have to give anything away, but I've heard it's coming back.
Yeah, I'm trying to get it back. The schedule is kind of crazy, but yeah, I'd love to get it back because the guys definitely did like that, and I enjoyed it for sure. And then, we were doing Saturdays for a while, and then everybody loves to do their own Saturday runs, but now we're starting to get it back, I think Manny, or now that Billy's part of the board, I think he's going to probably start doing more Saturdays, and I'll probably be out there joining too as well. So
we've said this so many times on here when we've talked about BRC, and it very clearly filled a need in this community. Like, you guys had a sense of what was needed, and you were there at the right time, right? The Wednesday night run. I've said it so many times, not just on here, but with other people who are interested in running, like, that Tuesday morning women's run is so important. My wife loves that, and her friend Laura loves that. And I think it's because it's all women, it's super positive, it's super empowering, and it's safe. And I think that's like really 4 important things for any kind of, group activity, but that's what I hear from my wife. Like, it's just great. I love it. It's 6:00. That's really early. And sometimes it's really cold and it's really rainy in the wintertime, but it's totally worth it. So yeah, you guys have certainly filled a need, and the trail thing was, however we want to put it, is great. It's perfect.
Yeah. I think, what we've done in the 1 year that we've been a BRC it just blows me away. Yeah, it really does. So cool. it's hands down one of the coolest things I've ever done. Scratch all the racing stuff. Like I don't really care about that stuff. What BRC has done for me and this community is probably the number one most important thing in my running journey so far. And it's just been magical, you know, seeing all these people come out and, you know, do their first trail run or do their first ladies workout, be comfortable. Like that's what we're all about, is getting people to be comfortable in their own skin and come out and enjoy the community, meet these amazing people that also all these people used to run alone. And now we're all one like big family, and being, and to see people progress and grow and on their own journeys has just been the most incredible thing ever. And the Tuesday, I mean, those girls just kick ass, man. I am just, every time I see that, I'm like, holy smokes, like 20 to freaking 25, 30 girls out there just crushing it. Rain, it doesn't matter.
No, it really doesn't.
Sleet, snow, it doesn't even matter, dude. They're out there every Tuesday, no matter what. And I'm just happy to hear that your wife enjoys it, because stuff like that just is, that's what I want to hear, you know, for BRC, you know.
So just side question. When are you getting the BRC logo tattooed on you somewhere?
Dude, I haven't even thought about that.
No, you haven't?
I swear to God, no. But now it's ingrained.
Yeah. Well, and you know, you talk about how, you know, you want everyone to feel welcome. I think you guys have the right people leading the charge, right? You, Jess, and Andrew, who we miss incredibly already. It's been a freaking week. That's it. It feels like forever. Manny is such a cool dude. Like, anybody who's hearing this that hasn't ever sat and talked to Manny,
oh my God,
do yourself a favor.
Yeah.
The guy is a wealth of knowledge, a wealth of great stories, and just a really good dude. I think getting Billy and Melissa involved in more of a prominent role, those are two great people as well, who are, you know, so immersed in the community, know everybody, and so positive. So yeah, you guys have the right people leading the way for sure.
Yeah, it couldn't have worked out any better. Yeah, we dearly miss Jess and Andrew, and you know what? They should have gotten a BRC tattoo. So now I'm gonna say, too late. Yeah, we're gonna have to get that on the
Jess and Andrew. If you hear this, we need photo proof.
Yeah.
Okay, so
I feel like they got to do it together. Like
Yeah.
all four got to go to a shop together.
Yeah, or on FaceTime, right? They're gonna be back east. Just pop up on FaceTime. You know what you could do is, you know, you have these awesome Bidwell Run Club stickers. You can also get temporary tattoos.
We should
start handing those
That would
out.
actually be genius. I'm not gonna lie.
I'm an idea guy.
Yeah.
I'm not big on action, but I'm an idea guy.
Yeah. So like going back to like Jess and Andrew leaving, definitely a heartbreaker, and we'll miss them dearly. They've done so much for this group, and they're just two great people, and whatever community they join, oh my God, they're blessed to have them. But in the meantime, we got Billy and Melissa stepping up, and you know, me and Manny, like, we all thought, we were thinking, like, who would want to, you know, join the board? Because it's a lot to take on. Like, it really is. Like, four of us, if it was just me, it'd be so hard. Like, or if it was just Jess and Andrew, like, if it was just one, it's so much. When it was four of us, we literally worked so good as a team and knocked stuff out. It made stuff so much more streamlined. And but so we had to pick two people that were, you know, motivated, knew the community, had the vibes that we wanted. And Billy was definitely one of them that I had my eye on, because he just knows everybody. He's always involved with all Fleet Feet stuff and all the community things. And I just knew he would be a great person to put in one of those roles. And then Jess kind of picked Melissa, and I agreed with her. Like, we all agreed. Like, Melissa, her background's like community involvement and a lot of that stuff.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, she's a lot of community involvement and other things, and she's really incredible. Yeah, and she wanted to be a part of it, and we were like, yes, someone that's like willing to take it on for sure. We're like, yeah, get in here for sure.
That's rad.
Yeah, we're stoked.
I went on the Saturday run with Billy, who led the way this past Saturday. Manny was wearing shoes, by the way, which was
surprising. Yeah,
man, it wasn't even that long of a run, and you guys were going swimming too.
Dude, we went to Bear Hole. We took a dip. It was kind of a chilly morning considering this time of year.
Yeah,
but it was still super refreshing to get in there. And like Billy had the course kind of mapped out. He had the idea of what we're going to do. He led the way. It was awesome. It was like a good Saturday morning, BRC run. Obviously we missed you guys, but I was happy to be a part of it and to kind of,
that's good.
Jump in the water. So it was fun.
Very cool.
It was fun. Hey, you mentioned Jess. She's obviously headed east with Andrew, but there will be a time when you will see her.
Yeah.
And that's because there's a crew that's headed to run in the very prestigious Boston Marathon next year. And this crew is 4 ladies, and I know there's others, but the 4 ladies I want to mention because there were multiple times I'd be driving to the park on Saturday or heading downtown somewhere early in the morning, and I would see you out running with these 4 ladies, and I would like drive by and you'd be somewhere in the park and say what's up, throwing the hand out the car window, and then like an hour and a half later I'd be driving back and you guys would still be running, and I'd see you again and I'd be like, dang, they're putting in some mileage. So I know you were helping train this group, or you were running with them and doing long runs, and I believe it's Morgan, Jess, Terry, and Amaya, I think is the foursome that's going.
Yeah.
They all qualified for Boston. You had a large part in that.
I had a little part.
Okay.
I don't want to be a large part. I helped them out with one big training run.
That must have been the day I saw it.
I did not. I mean, I helped motivate them to get, that was their biggest training run. It was I believe a 22-mile run, and they had specific splits that they were hitting every 4 miles, and I told them that I'd pace them and pace them the whole way, and they crushed it. They did it, and we hit all the splits that we needed, and those girls are relentless in terms of what they did during that training block was something special, and to do it together was really cool. And to just be a part of a little slice of that. I can't take much credit because they did all the work, but I was there to help motivate them through at least that big final stamp on that training block to get them the confidence to go down to Ojai, I believe, or Ventura and run that mountains to coast or mountains to beach or something marathon, which they crushed. And I believe they're all nervous about their times, but I think they all got like a 6-minute buffer for Boston. So I think they're going to be good. Even with the new cutoff times, I think they're still going to be good. But it could be close. You never know. The Boston times, I thought I had it with almost 7 minutes previous year, and I didn't get in, and it was like just over 7 minutes. So I was like, are you kidding me? So, yeah.
So are you feeling pretty good about the current time that you have?
Yes. My current time with like an 11-minute buffer. If I don't get in, I don't know what's going on.
A sternly worded letter to them?
Yes. Yeah, I think I'm pretty saved.
How did you do that?
Yeah, the block that I put in was one that I never knew I thought I could run type of block, like splits that I'm like, holy smokes, running in the 6 to 6:30s at a heart rate that, officially like dropped down into the 150s at that pace. And, it's, I really trained off of heart rate the past 2 marathons, and went all based off heart rate. And that was it. And then my splits carried with my heart rate. And eventually I saw the progression throughout my block. It was a 20-week block, but I added Monterey into that block. Yeah. So Monterey was like that first like couple weeks were real fast paces compared to my last like 16 weeks. So Monterey being in that contributed. basically got my tempo up, my threshold pace up. I got everything dialed in, and then going straight into that marathon block was just like, okay, I know what I could run at a half marathon. Now I just need to tailor it to a marathon pace and back it off a little bit. And yeah.
And you ran what, 240 at Napa Valley?
244 at Napa Valley Marathon. Yep.
Holy cow.
Yeah. 10th place. Yeah.
So you just mentioned it. You did all of this training for that based on heart rate. Ross and I have been really having discussions about that, and the benefits of zone 2 running, right?
Yeah.
Trying to keep that heart rate super low. Can you tell us a little bit more about how you set up that plan to train all on heart rate?
Yeah, so a lot of it was actually kind of like a Coro's integrated training plan. So if Garmin has them too, probably, but Coro's has actually got these training plans where you could kind of do like this VO2 max testing, kind of threshold testing, and then it'll kind of base that run off of your paces and your heart rate and everything. So I did that, and then basically the whole block is implemented into your watch, and then you could tailor it to whatever you want. But a lot, 80% 80% to 85% of my runs were base runs. Base runs, as I mean, like a heart rate from 148 to 160 was my base run. So as long as I stayed in that heart rate zone, that's a base run. Okay. So it would be like a 5-minute warm up, just warm up the legs, run, and then you're doing 5 miles at a base heart rate. Okay. And that base heart rate for me would be right around, in the early stages of that was like, my heart rate was, I would try to keep it right around 155. And that would be, it used to be 155 for me was like 8-minute average pace. Eventually I dropped that down to 155 was like a 635, 640 average pace. I did so many base runs at a 155 heart rate or a 148 to 160 range heart rate. I did so many base runs like that eventually my heart rate got used to that level, and I was able to pick up the pace without it ever spiking.
Dude, that's so cool. So does your Coros like yell at you if your heart rate gets above where?
Yeah, you can. You
can set that on the Garmin.
You could set that on the Garmin too. Yeah. Yep. You could set that up.
That's so interesting. Love it.
Yeah, and I think I think a lot of us need to hear that you don't need to watch the pace.
No.
Like the heart rate is what dictates how successful you're going to be, how fast you're going to run.
Yeah.
Good point.
And, I think not that it's terribly important, but how old are you?
31.
31. Okay. Yeah. Because I think maybe that is important too, because your 155, 6.5 minute pace is going to be much different than my 155, like, pace, whatever that would be.
Yeah.
Mine might be more like 8.5 minutes, right?
Right.
But what you're saying is that with 20 weeks of really emphasizing that and doing an overwhelming majority of your runs in that zone, eventually that pace should go down and your heart rate will stay in that same window.
Exactly. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So I would do two. So majority of them were base runs, anywhere from 5 miles, 4 miles up to, it started getting up into the later stages, like 14, 15 mile base runs. I would have 2 speed workouts a week. I would, ones that would be like 1 mile on, and then a half mile off, 1 mile on. And then it eventually grew to 2 miles at threshold pace for 4 sets, and then like a half mile off. Okay. So I was running, towards the end of the block, it was like 6-minute pace for 2 miles, take like a half mile off, just rest running, and then back for like 4 sets. And those were huge workouts. I mean, those were 12, 14 mile workouts that I would get anxiety from, because marathon training just gives me so much anxiety when it comes to those runs compared to like trail running. Like trail running, I could just enjoy it. But marathon training,
that's the same thing we say all the time.
I'm just like,
the expectation is
dude,
so different.
Yeah, because you're just always worried about time and splits and stuff. But I try not to get carried away. But.
Well, and you get really focused on that when this race gives you the opportunity for the next big race,
100%,
right? That,
yeah.
you know, when you're trying to get to Boston, you really got to pour it all into that training for the race that even gets you there.
I
to
know.
begin with.
Yeah. Once you get to Boston, you're in Boston.
Yeah.
So you could run that however slow you want and enjoy it.
Yeah. Walk it if you want.
The work is to get the qualifier and
Especially like if you've had the experience you've had where you thought you were there, and then the buffer wasn't enough. So I could see the anxiety. It's like, I was right there.
Sure.
Yeah, no. And my very first marathon was the Eugene Marathon a year before that. And, you know, I came into it like, you know, I thought I had a great training block. Everything was going great. But I hit a wall like hardcore with like 10K to go. And I ended up was running like 9-10 minute paces the last 6 miles. And I have never hurt so bad from a race than running a marathon. I swear. It hurt worse than running 100 miles or 200 miles. I swear. Just something about pounding the pavement that fast for that long. Yeah. It hurts so bad. Yeah. So bad. And that's when I first hit the wall and I was like, whoa, that woke me up. And I was like, okay, the marathon is no joke. Yeah. Like it isn't a joke.
And is that what kind of sparked this interest in like, maybe I need to look at a different way of training for this? Yes. Maybe moving away from emphasizing my pace to emphasizing my heart rate is the way to go?
100%. Yeah. Okay. I was too focused on pace and timing that very first marathon, just ignorant to my own bliss of like what I knew. I was like, oh, I could run this. Well, fueling and training, like I trained a lot on the track, which I told myself I will do speed workouts on the track every now and then, but for a marathon, I am training specifically on the pavement because I am running 26.2 miles on the pavement. And the track just gives me too much cushion, you know, but it does help. Like, don't get me wrong. The track is actually amazing to do
when you
speed
need that
workouts.
Perfect quarter mile.
Yes. It's super nice.
It's so easy. It's so mindless.
For whatever reason, I did a lot of those. That very first marathon block was a lot of training and long runs on the track, and I contribute my failure to that track at Chico State. So I was like, I'm not stepping foot on that track. I'm doing all my workouts in Lower Park, and I'm just gonna have to deal with this shitty road that I got to run on.
Side note,
it's gonna be
it's gonna be glorious,
dude. It's gonna be the best marathon training grounds in Northern California. I swear to God, when they do both roads.
Ross posed the question last week, with this new and improved, sorry, we're going off on a jag here, but this new and improved paving in Lower Park, how much, you know, let's say in the Bidwell Classic, when you're running the half marathon, you got to do 2 loops. How much time is a smooth, even road going to take off? Like, how beneficial is that going to be to a runner?
I would say a couple minutes.
Okay, that's what Ross...
I would easily say on that Bidwell Classic half marathon, I would say you could easily shave off a couple minutes.
Ross was predicting 10 to 15 seconds a mile, right?
Yeah, something. And so like that. Is that too much? But maybe not.
No, but not. Dude, that would be a couple minutes.
I would say 2 minutes. Okay, 2 to 3 minutes.
Yeah. I'm excited for that.
Because
so nice.
It's gonna be fun.
Because I mean, you would not have to look. It's like trail running on pavement, literally on that road. It was that bad. It was terrible. And I hated it.
Yeah, it was terrible.
So it's going to be incredible when it's done.
So we were briefly talking about training right there, right? Yeah. And just, you know, your heart rate. And I mean, it's a treat for us to be able to, you know, have a conversation with you about training, because we know what makes you elite. One of the reasons is all that you put into nutrition and diet and strength training and the mileage that you do and the recovery, like potentially Epsom salt baths and massages and stretching
and a massage today.
Okay, so like we want to tap into that. I mean, how much are you really putting into the training and recovery side of it? And let's just start here. Like, how often are you hitting the gym and lifting the weights or doing the squats?
So I hit the gym at least 5 days a week.
Wow.
Yeah. I contribute a lot of my success of not getting injured from going to the gym, for sure. 100%. Strength training is probably the number one key thing that I tell people that ask me if they're going to start running a lot is just strength train. Add it in, even if it's 2 to 3 times a week or 1 to 2 times a week for now. Just start adding it in slowly and then just build from there, because it's just going to help you tremendously, not in your running economy, just being out on the trails to be able to go longer and withstand beating up the body. Like it's armor for you, in a way. I mean, you're carrying a lot more weight. Like look at, I carry a lot of weight, but like, in the end, it's armor, to help, secure your joints, help maintain them over the years of longevity in the sport.
That's exactly what Shauna said when she was in here a few weeks ago. She said, strength training. You guys looked at both of those and said, you guys need to do strength training. Like, you run enough, do some strength training. My wife is a huge proponent of weights. She runs 2 maybe 3 days a week, but she does strength training 4 or 5 days a week.
Yeah, and that's great.
And so she can go run a half marathon and not have done a whole lot of running going into it because she does everything else. And she's like, just do it.
Yeah, and she's probably and she could go do this half marathon and be like completely fine after it, not be obliterated, like completely like just down in the dumps. Like you could go and do these things and be like, I just ran a half marathon. Like, I'm sore, but
but now I can still go on with the rest of my day and not go sleep for 3.5 hours.
Yeah. So I think strength training is like, I just think it's the number one thing all runners should be doing a little bit to benefit, longevity for sure in the sport.
Are you doing like heavy lifts? Is it like arms, back one day, then legs the next day, then?
So I do a full body split every day. So I work out one muscle group or almost every muscle group every day, but with one movement per each muscle group. So I'll do squats. Like today I did front squats, like 3 sets of 5 at like probably 80% of my max. And then I went straight into strict presses, 3x5 strict presses. And then I did standing barbell calf raises, like 4 sets of 15 at like 225, And then I was doing bicep curls and what else? Like dumbbell flies, stuff like that. And then sometimes I follow a program, it switches it up. I'll do a lot of abdominal workouts, and because the core and glutes are probably the number one thing for me. Is just like, if I have a strong core and glutes, you're going to withstand a lot, because that's just like the bread and butter right there.
Especially when you're going to climb 36,000 feet.
Yeah, no, 100%. Yeah. You need to have the glutes and legs, but you also need to have the core to keep your upper body straight up. It's funny when you see some of these people that are running 100 miles, and well, it's not funny, but a lot of these people that come into these races and they don't have the core strength, you'll see them towards the end kind of barreling down because their body just doesn't have the strength to keep it up anymore, and that comes down to good core strength. And it doesn't take much to do, if you're doing 3 sets of 10 or 12 and you're doing crunches, you're doing leg raises, it really, or even just planks with weight, or planks or planks without weight. Like, you start there and you do 30 seconds on, take a minute break, 30 seconds on, like, and then you start growing and you do like a minute on and then a minute off, and then maybe start adding weight, like stuff like that will help build your core. And then you're going to notice that hugely, especially out on the trails for sure. But yeah.
So what about this? Like, you're obviously cut from that Sutter football cloth, like you've been hitting the weights for a long time.
Yeah.
If there's somebody that hasn't been doing that, would you recommend to them? Because I've kind of heard different. Like, some people are like, hey, you need to do more reps, less weight as you start to get into strength training. Or would you be like, no, man, try to put up as much weight as you can and then build from there?
Yeah, no, coming from the CrossFit and a lot of gym stuff, is definitely don't push the heavy weights around. First off, don't. It's just, you're asking for an injury right off the bat. Start small and build from there. Don't do high reps, really. Just keep it simple. Keep it within the 5 to 10 rep range, and don't go more than that. And then, find your kind of max a little bit. You don't have to typically find it, but like, just know where you're kind of at on like an RPE scale of 1 to 10. Like, okay, if I could do say 50 pounds, 7 times, and that's like as many as I could get, that's 70% like of your max. Like, okay, so don't overdo it, don't overshoot it in terms of reps, and don't make it complicated.
Yeah.
Make it simple. Make it simple.
Sort of a focus on the form.
Yes.
With the lighter weights, and then as you get the form down, you can kind of gradually
graduate for. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Exactly.
So in addition to the weights, and the running, obviously, what other things physically are you doing to train?
So a lot of sauna, a lot of Epsom, for recovery. That's mainly for recovery.
Yeah.
Sauna, Epsom salt baths, massages from Isaac Clipper, which is Kinetic Freedom Massage. All BRC members get $15 off massage. So you guys better
Say
go in
his
there.
name again.
Isaac Clipper
At
Kinetic Freedom Massage Therapy.
Beautiful.
He's the man. Bobby goes to him. Mike O'Connell goes to him. Matt Henderson goes to him. Katie Crane's gone to him. He works wonders. So if you go to him, I go to him like once a month, just to keep me in check. And man, it hurts, but you feel a lot better.
It's the good hurt.
It's the good hurt.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, he's probably not looking to sponsor a podcast, but we're open.
Yeah.
We're open.
Yeah.
He's a really good guy. He's cool. He's awesome.
Yeah. We'll have
That's
to.
cool.
Yeah. I could definitely stand to
Yeah.
have a massage.
In terms of like other training, I'm on the mountain bike every once in a while, but I don't really consider that much training because I don't hit it too hard. I used to cross train a little bit more with the road cycling, and I kind of phased that out. I did a little bit more mountain biking.
Okay.
Other than that, I just got the new Nordic Track treadmill, so now I'll be doing a lot more hiking.
Okay.
Stairmaster in motion. I used to hit a lot for
Yeah.
Bigfoot. A lot of just hiking and getting in the groove, because a lot of those longer races you're not running.
Right.
Most of it you're hiking the uphills, and yeah.
What about nutrition and diet? I mean, you mentioned you don't drink, so that's
Yeah.
awesome. That has to help, fuel you. What about nutrition?
Nutrition, I kind of, I'm a pretty, I've always followed the kind of like 80-20 plan of like 80% pretty strict on what I kind of eat, 20% I'm laxative on terms of what I put in my body.
Wait. You don't want laxatives.
Or not laxative.
Yeah.
Laxadaisy.
Yeah. Lackadaisical. Relax. Yeah. Laxative. That's a whole nother world.
Yeah, true.
I
I
don't
don't
think you
want
want that during training.
Yeah.
Maybe
Wrong
you
word.
do. You get rid of everything.
True. You might be laxadaisy.
Yeah.
On what I put. Yeah. Definitely don't want laxatives in there. Oh shit.
I don't know. I think we might have just invented
Yeah,
something
yeah.
like
We could've.
once
That's
a
our
week,
$1 million idea.
have a
No one
laxative,
steal it.
Yeah. Seriously.
Clear out your system. It's like a
Start
cleanse.
fresh.
It's a cleanse.
So when you say 20% not so focused,
Yeah.
like what do you consider not?
Like a burger and fries and
Okay.
stuff like that.
Okay.
Yeah. I try not to. I'm pretty strict when it comes during the week. Like I try to hit say 100, and my body weight, I weigh like 165, 170, right around there. So I try to hit at least 160 grams of protein every day.
Okay.
Whether that's coming from like ground turkey, ground beef, eggs, liquid egg whites, Greek yogurt, stuff like that, or cheese and stuff. And then I usually keep a fairly low carbohydrate.
Okay.
So I don't consider myself like low carbohydrate, but I'm typically right around like 100 to 150 range a day, and I try to keep it low. And then my fats, I get mainly from like nuts, like walnuts and stuff like that I like to add in there. But that's kind of typically what my nutrition is like during the week. It's pretty dialed. I prep all my food for the week.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
I stay pretty dialed. For dinners, usually I'll just come home and, yeah, it's either steaks, ground beef, or whatever, and salad. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's interesting, because you must have to eat a lot of protein, because you're not like a big bulky guy, but you're not like the wayfish, super skinny, lean, runner that I think a lot of people associate with distance running. Like, you watch the Olympics and you see the marathoners, once every 4 years, and those folks are just skin and bones, it looks like. And you're the opposite of that, I would say. You've definitely got some muscle mass to you. So you must need protein to keep that mass when you're doing these big runs.
Yeah. Yep. So typically, it's like, keeping my protein high. And I just, watch the carbohydrates a little bit. But obviously when it comes down to like race week and stuff like that, I do the carb loading.
Okay.
And when I'm fueling during runs, like I used to not fuel, and it really like all of us, like when we first like started running, it's like, what's, just a water, or not even a water, you know? And
I'll just hit the aid station and have a sip of electrolytes once every 4 miles. It'll be fine. And
then the more you find out, and the more that the science backs it, it's like, dude, fueling for your runs pre, during, and post, it really, the recovery, everything, you feel better. The run feels amazing. Everything with fueling is so important when it comes to running. And I've added, like, from now on, I run with, some type of carbohydrate electrolyte drink mix.
Yeah.
And I at least have 2 gels with me no matter what. Like,
I remember at Monterey, I saw at the end of Monterey, I ate 2 gels in that half marathon. How many did you eat?
So I ended up eating a total of like 7 gels. And it was actually... Oh, I think I overdid it, to be honest. Like, I had like 7 gels, and I had 1 drink. Did I have 2 flasks? I think I had 2 flasks of about 60 grams of carbs in each flask.
Okay.
So I consumed about 400, pretty close to 400 grams of carbs in an hour and 22 minutes.
Well, yeah, but you said that an hour and 22 minutes.
Yeah.
So you were working hard. So it's not like you weren't using that.
No, right? Exactly.
It's not like you were just sitting on your couch, watching TV, consuming 400 grams of carbs.
Yeah.
Okay, that's interesting. It's good to hear that, because I know, like, I'm always like, oh, half marathon, 2 gels would be plenty, and then I'll drink water along the way. And maybe it's time to reevaluate that, because there are times when I get to the end and I feel like crap.
Yep.
And then maybe the fueling is a big part of that. I'm very interested in the carb drinks that you're talking about, like the mix, like Morton's or something that you mix in.
Mm-hmm. Goo Roctane, Scratch.
Okay.
I'm actually I just got some Precision, which I'm going to try out.
Okay.
I'm still debating on what I want to use for UTMB.
Okay.
But I'm hoping Precision might be the go-to.
And that's what these next few weeks are going to be.
Yeah,
for,
I'm going to
start.
As
part of the training is tuning, really fine-tuning all of that stuff.
Yeah. And there's so many good carb drink mixes out there, like Goo Roctane, like you get from Fleet Feet. It's like, dude, I ran with that stuff all the time, and then I started experimenting with new stuff, and whatever works for you, like, you got to test it out, and it really does wonders. And you don't have to, like, that Monterey race was, I wanted to try something with the high carb, because the high carb thing's been, the big news lately in the running world. And I wanted to try it out, and I was practicing a lot in the training. And then I think I overshot it. My stomach was fine, but I was almost a little too, like, sluggish there. Like, I felt like I could have done better, but I feel like I didn't need that many carbs.
Hour 22. I could have done better.
I know. It's crazy to say, but, like, it's like, I feel like and recently I've dialed it back a little bit to, like, right around 80 to 90. And I think that's my sweet spot now. Okay. I think 120 or 150 is actually a little too much for me. But some people can handle it. It's kind of crazy.
I'm sure.
It is.
So do you do yoga? Do you do Pilates? Do you do red light therapy? Do you do any of that stuff too?
I used to do hot yoga.
Okay.
Not anymore. I don't do Pilates. I don't have red light therapy, but I wish I did because red light therapy is amazing.
Yeah, I've done that a few times.
It definitely has a huge
great.
a huge effect on your body for sure.
Yeah.
I would love to have red light therapy. That'd be one thing I'd love to have. But
Yeah. Okay.
no, I don't do any of.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's the other thing. I don't stretch.
Don't stretch.
I don't stretch. Yeah.
That's crazy.
I don't stretch. I don't.
Wait till you're 40, Logan.
I know. I don't stretch. I roll out. I don't roll out, actually. Isaac says you need to roll out, but sometimes I'm like, dude, I don't like rolling out.
Yeah. But that's stretching and rolling out and core, like sit-ups, crunches, planks, like that's all stuff that I look at my life and I'm like, I sit and watch TV in the evening. Like I could very easily, when I'm watching a basketball game or a football game, get down on the ground for 10 minutes, like literally 10 minutes of my life. So this has turned into a little bit of my therapy session. I need to just be better.
You're good enough.
Yeah,
you're good enough. Come on, Peter.
You said something with the treadmill and the stair stepper, and I just want to circle back to your Bigfoot training, because I remember last year when you were getting ready for that and some of the, just for lack of a better term, stupid workouts that you were doing for that. Stupid in the sense that they were incredibly impressive, and I don't know that a lot of people could complete them. I'm thinking of one workout in particular, and it's Green Gate.
Oh yeah, the Green Gate week.
Yeah.
The Green Gate week.
Yeah.
So those of you who don't know, there's a trail called Green Gate, or there's a gate called Green Gate up going out of Chico, and you can go up and down this hill a bunch of times if you want, like Logan did. Logan, tell us about that Green Gate week, just because it's insane, and I still can't wrap my mind around it.
Yeah,
it's a very hard run.
It's one of our only like incredible like perfect hill repeats segments in the park where you could, if you take the short route, you go a mile down and a mile back up. You gain about 800 feet, in that mile. And I told myself that if I wanted to be contending, in the top 10 or top 5, I needed to do this Green Gate week where I did 5 Green Gates every day for 7 days. And then I think the last day I did like 7, and I hit it I hit close to 88 miles that week as well, with like 28,000 feet of gain in that week.
In that week.
Yeah, in that week.
That's amazing. So
I was just out there every day. Every day after work, I'd go out there. I'd hit 5 Green Gates, go home, eat a ton of food.
I was say go home and eat everything.
Literally, everything, and go back and do it again for 7 days straight. And then after that, I ran 190 Green Gates last year. Yeah, I saw my segment, when your Strava gives you your last thing, and it's like, you've done this segment 190 times.
I don't know that
I was like, holy, I wasn't counting that much.
190 times.
Yeah, it was crazy.
The king of Green Gate. That's cool.
Yeah.
That's really
cool.
So
that's my hill that I love to do repeats on.
The hill that you will die on.
Yeah.
Metaphorically and hopefully not physically.
Yeah, hopefully not physically.
Yeah, that's insane. So what was that the hardest week of training that you've ever put into a block, or has there been another time where there was a more challenging workout or set of workouts?
I think that was the most specific training I've ever had for a specific race. It wasn't the hardest week because I feel like after day 2 or day 3, my body just got used to it, and I found that robot like switch to where I could just turn it on and I could just, the mind just flipped a switch and I could just run, basically get into that mode to where I could just hit Green Gates. Like it was, my heart rate was staying a little bit lower. I wasn't having a high heart rate, and I was able to get in the groove a lot easier on like day 2 or 3. And then from there, it was just like, it wasn't that hard. It was weird. It got to a moment. Yeah, I know. It's crazy. I mean, it was hard.
Different ideas of not that hard.
I mean, being out there, it was like 2 hours. Yeah. doing those repeats. It definitely was mind numbing, but I knew I needed that going into a race like Bigfoot, to where I was like, I need some really mind numbing workouts to where I could shut stuff off and just keep plugging away, because I was going to do a lot of climbing.
It wasn't just a physical workout, it was the mental workout.
It's like I say, like a lot of these races, they're like 90% 90% mental, 10% physical. Because it's incredible what the mind could do.
Well, just talking about that training made me tired. So why don't we take a break for a minute?
Yeah, and this break is brought to you by Epsom salt baths. I can't wait till it gets cool again. I want to take some Epsom salt baths.
How do you guys feel about the CBD lavender scented Epsom salts? Because I like to smell pretty.
Yeah, I've tried that actually.
Nice. All right, welcome back. Hey, so one thing that struck me earlier was how much you mentioned that inspiring others or connecting with the running community means a lot to you. I thought that was really cool to hear that, participating in these big prestigious races and getting top finishes is awesome, but it seems like what means more is inspiring others, and it's a testament to your character. Moving forward, is it coaching that's in the future? Is it inspiring others? Is it building out the Bidwell Run Club? Or is it like, I want to hunker down and try and get some sponsorships and, go pro? Is it both? Like, what's the road ahead like?
Yeah, pro or elite trail running or running in general is definitely not in my wheelhouse. It's I know. Yeah,
you're pretty damn talented.
Yeah, we could agree to distree on that one, Logan.
But I love racing. Don't get me wrong, I do. I enjoy it so much. But it, on the other end of it, I just love running. I love just the active running and the way it makes me feel. And like I say, races are awesome, but just running in general and getting outside the door and just going for a run, simple run is just what makes my drive, every day. And inspiring others and BRC has definitely, filled that void of inspiring and motivating people, to get out and socialize and be with community. That has, always will have a huge impact on my life. And, I believe, that's kind of my future, start a family and, hopefully have little zigs running around in the park and, and just enjoy BRC and immerse, my kids in that. That'd be, a huge goal of mine and watch people, kick ass at races and watch everybody, crush it.
So
really cool.
Yeah. And I love that you're going to keep, stay immersed in BRC and keep that growing. Is there like a big end game or goal for BRC? Like, what do you see coming of that? Or is it just like really just building up our community and keeping the weekly runs going? Or is there something like more that you see Bidwell Run Club kind of trying to do or be a part of?
I think, I always have a couple of goals with BRC. One of them, now being a nonprofit, is helping out, the local community in terms of people that are less fortunate to have to be able to buy running shoes or running apparel, and helping those people is definitely like helping kids get fitted and say they need shoes for, track and field or elementary schools, like stuff like that. That's what I ultimately would love BRC to contribute to getting the younger generations involved with outdoor activities.
Yeah.
Another thing is maybe, and I've always thought about this, eventually having being a race director and hosting a race eventually, trail race, nothing like extraordinary, but I do have goals. Like I'd love to be a race director and, put on like 100-mile race. But you got to start with stepping stones.
Sure.
And I would love to put on a local race. I have a lot of ideas, and stuff. So yeah, that's definitely would be in the future,
A little musty buck
Yeah.
50K.
Yeah. There's trust me, I have a lot of routes. I have a lot of routes.
Yeah, you've spent enough time in Bidwell Park.
I mean, I even thought about, wanting to bring back the Bidwell Marathon. Mm-hmm. I'd love to have, the Bidwell Classic half marathon's awesome, but I would love to have a marathon in this city that really explores the city.
Yeah. Did you hear us talking to Shauna a few weeks ago?
No, I actually listened to. I must have missed that part, but
yeah. Ross might have mentioned that. Yeah, it's something very much.
Dude,
like
we need
that.
one.
Yeah,
so many people would come to this area and spend a bunch of money and stay in the hotels.
And that's ultimately, bring an economy.
And there's so many local groups, Sierra Nevada, who might be interested in supporting something like 100%. That, or would also benefit from having a big influx of people.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. And it's definitely one goal. Yeah, I'd love, I see these marathons and what it brings out in people, and it's incredible. All these races, I mean, all the races that Fleet Feet puts on, like the Fall Trail Classic now is just like one of my favorite races to go out and volunteer and run. And it's like Shauna's done a great thing with that. And like, I love being involved with all community stuff, and I'd love to see a marathon. Yeah. And I've talked to Shauna a little bit about it too. Like, dude, we got to do this. Like,
what was her reaction?
She's like, well, there's a lot of stuff. You got to
sound similar.
You got to pay for shutting this road down. You got to pay. I was like, okay, there's a lot of.
She's right. Yeah. It's understandable.
She knows. She does.
She's right.
Yeah, she knows what she's talking about. I get it. I get it. But I was like, well, if we could get some people to sponsor, companies to sponsor, we could make this happen.
Yeah. Well, it's cool at the local races now that BRC's around to see the BRC table out there and some BRC folks, handing out water, doing the aid station thing, and just,
so fun.
Seeing positive, upbeat faces when you're pushing through a race that, you're getting uncomfortable. It's good to see that, and, ringing the bells and yelling. So, please keep that up.
Oh,
at minimum, please keep showing up at all the races and supporting everybody that's out there, because it means a lot to everybody who's running.
Yeah, it's so cool seeing everybody race. Yeah.
That's awesome. So one thing that's kind of interesting, I'm heading out to Atlanta later on this week to visit my bro. We're going to mess around. I haven't seen him in a while. Really looking forward to it. His wife's pregnant. And
Uncle Ross.
Yeah, I'm going to congratulate him and hang with him. But he's like, bro, why are you doing all this running? Like every time I talk with him, he's like, what are you doing, dude? Like, what's going on? And he just, maybe doesn't quite get it. I'm sure if I ran with him for a couple months, he would get it. He would understand it. The switch would flip. One thing that's really cool about your situation is Todd, and maybe your other brother, but you've got a dynamic with your sibling where you're racing and training and probably sharing stories and sharing experiences. I mean, what's that like for you? Tell us about running with Todd, because Todd does some prestigious races as well, and he's an elite runner, right?
Yeah, no, it's actually kind of funny because like he actually got me to do my first half marathon, road half marathon, the Shamrock Half down in Sacramento, and basically ever since then, I beat him in that race, and I was training a little bit, and he's the type of guy that's like comes out and runs a half marathon, and like doesn't train that much. But now that I've been doing these like ultras, and now he's like doing ultras, and now he just got into the Tahoe 200 for next year. So now he wants to do 200, and I'm like, holy smokes. Okay. But it's been awesome. It's fun. It's something cool that both of us could do together. And, it's really cool. He knows what's up, and crewing and pacing each other back and forth, really helping each other, like push each other to our limits. Like that's like ultimately grown our relationship so much between us. Like it's super cool, to experience. Yeah.
That's really neat.
Yeah, and it sounds like maybe these training runs and these races, and Logan did a 200-mile race, like my younger brother.
100%.
It's taking you guys back to like the early 2000s in Sutter, or what?
Yeah, for sure, dude. It's like, this little shit's running 200s. I could do this shit too. Yeah. No, it's a really cool experience, and yeah, he's been kicking ass. I mean, he did the Canyons 100 mile this year, crushed it, 25 hours, and yeah, he's actually been blowing me away with his training, and he runs in Sutter. He
might be the only guy.
Yeah,
but yeah,
he comes up here every once in a while and runs in Upper Park and gets his vert, but he. Down there it's so flat. You can't, we always dream about, those private landowners in the Sutter Buttes. If they just gave, a section of their land off, we could have the sickest trail system in there. And it would be incredible.
How many miles is it to go around the Sutter Buttes?
There's actually the Sutter Buttes. I think it's like close to 100 miles on a bike if you do it. Yeah, there's like a.
So it sounds like the Sutter Buttes 100 miler.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Brought to you by Todd and Logan Ziegenmeyer.
It wouldn't be that special.
The Ziegenmeyer Classic.
Oh my god, that would be crazy.
So wait, you can't. Like, I swear I had a friend back in the day who went and hiked around Sutter Buttes.
Yeah, you could get in there and hike, yeah.
And there was a golf course kind of right at the bottom of there for a while, too.
Yeah.
I think it's gone now, but there was a golf
it's still
course
there, but it's, like, gone.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's really interesting that you grew up in Sutter, and the Sutter Buttes are, like, right there.
I know, right?
And now you're, like, running amazing ultra marathons. It's almost like the mountains were calling your name.
Yeah.
Like you're playing football, but off in the distance is the Sutter Buttes.
Yeah, that is
it's like it was luring you.
How about the Ziegenmeyer 100-mile classic around the Sutter Buttes, and it ends with tri-tip, because I know Sutter does tri-tip.
Dude, how do you know that? Because my dad's like bread and butter.
Of course it is.
The tri-tip guy, dude. We'd have the barbecue at the football games.
Of course it is.
Dude, that's so funny.
Yep.
That's really cool. Well, you've had some other good running partners. Kyler, who, I only got to run with once. I really wish I got to pick his brain and get to know him a little bit better, or a little bit more. He just moved to St. Louis, but you guys participated in the Silver State 50 miler recently. Yeah. And had a pretty cool experience.
Yeah,
tell us how that ended.
Kyler's extremely cool, dude. I've only known him for a little over a year, and I mean, we hit it off good, and just a cool, down to earth dude. No social media besides Strava or anything, and just a really cool dude. And he's the same age as me, and I actually thought he was way younger than me, so I'd always call him the kid. And then he's like, "Dude, you realize I'm your same age, right?" I was like, "Wait, you're 31?" Why do you keep calling me the kid? I was like, "I thought you were way younger than me."
Kyler the kid sounds cool.
Yeah. But he was awesome, man. Me and him and Matt Bonner met up for a run randomly, and Matt like instigated it, and then we all became good friends. And then me and Kyler trained a lot together, and he became he got big into the trail running scene when he was here, and the kid's a stud for sure.
Yeah.
And he could run, and so the 50 mile, the Silver State 50 miler was his first 50 mile race, and I knew going into it, like, me and him did a lot of training runs together, and we literally were like matching in terms of fitness wise. And I knew we didn't like plan it, but we knew we were gonna run together for a good amount of it. But we didn't really plan it like we were gonna run all 50 miles together. But it ended up being probably one of my coolest race experiences was running with that guy. And just had a great time. And we pushed each other and caught up to first place for a little bit, and then lost. We were in third and fourth, passed second place together. And just cruised the whole day, and it was a hard race. It was a tough race, but finishing together with him, that was a pretty cool experience. I've never experienced that before, running 50 miles with someone. So
that's so badass. I gotta ask, did you let him take second?
No, it's funny. Like, we both.
He was moving in a couple weeks.
Yeah.
Kind of a goodbye.
Yeah, gift. I told at the end we literally finished. Yeah, right neck to neck. Like, and they were like writing down the times. There was like no timing, Matt. So like,
What?
So we were
Clicking the
like,
button.
How's it not a timing mat?
yeah. So we were like, all right,
It's Reno.
he won, and then she's like, so who got second and third? And then we both pointed at each other. And then he was like, you get the age group, I'll get the second podium. I was like, all right, whatever.
Awesome.
Yeah, it was funny though. But yeah, it was a good time. Man, he's a good guy. But he'll be back. I think he'll be back in a couple of years. So
Okay.
yeah.
Is this like a
His wife's going out there for college, finish her masters.
Oh, cool.
So, and then
for them.
they got
Yeah.
she's got family here in Forest Ranch. So he's like, dude, I'm gonna be back for sure. So I'm hoping to see
Tyler,
him
come
back in a couple of
back.
years. Yeah.
come
I know
back?
everybody's leaving.
I know. Yeah, Geoff's leaving soon, or
Oh,
Geoff
yeah.
left this weekend. I think.
Did he leave this weekend?
I think he might have.
I just reached out to him. I had his BRC shirt. I have to mail it to him.
He's if I recall, he's going to be gone for a couple weeks and then be
Oh, and he's
back
coming
for
back.
for a
Okay,
couple weeks.
That's right. I remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, hey, this has been amazing. Pete, you got some rapid fire questions?
I do.
Oh, okay. We go.
Logan, I got my 4 questions for you.
Okay.
Okay. You can answer them however you want, long, short. You can abstain if you feel like that's the best way to go. But first question, favorite trail to run?
Legacy.
Legacy?
Legacy. I think Legacy. I mean, it's not that long, but it's just when it's like in that early spring, like after a good fall, and or like even an early or a heavy rain, and then you go down there. It is epic down in there. Like you got Lovejoy Falls flowing if it's got a heavy rain that night before, and that thing's just beautiful. And then it looks like something out of like Lord of the Rings when
For
we're
real.
going down there.
Yeah.
Like,
Ross hasn't been
How
through
do
Legacy
how do
Loop
we
yet.
get there?
Oh,
It's
dude,
off
I
at
want to know
Annie.
more.
Yeah, it's off at
Yeah.
Annie.
Is it like
So right
wells?
before you get to Bloody Pin, there's a left turn right there. Yeah.
And then do you have to climb down or?
Yeah, it's just
Down,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yep, down, and then you go all the way down to Lovejoy, and then it's just kind of nice and rolly, and it's kind of real rocky and mossy in there. Super cool.
Yeah.
Shit, dude, how have I not videoed this? I'm so bummed out.
So
right
I think the statute of limitations has passed, but right after the fire in Upper Park, me and you and Noah and I think maybe Aiden went and ran.
We did that section.
Yeah, and it was totally we didn't cross any lines that we weren't supposed to cross.
Yeah.
But yeah, we went down there and there were still like fire hoses.
There was. That's right.
It was
I
like
remember
right
that.
after it had been cleared.
Yeah.
For people to go up there. Yeah,
Yeah.
that was cool. Second question: when you're out running solo, which you've done a lot of, you said that. Are you headphones with music or something, or are you raw dogging it with just your thoughts?
Oh man.
Or both.
Kind of both.
Okay.
Both. Yeah. Sometimes I'll just I like listening to the feet hit the trail, and then other times I love rocking out.
Okay.
Sometimes I'll bring my headphones out, and I have those shocks. The shocks.
Yeah.
I love those headphones, and yeah.
So when you are listening to something, what's a go-to song or band or group that is going?
It's going, dude. I love I'm like all over the place, but it's either like AC/DC or like Rufus Du Sol, like either some like high B EDC or EDM,
Okay.
or AC/DC or Creedence Clearwater, like stuff that's
okay.
like some classic stuff that I love to just get the blood pumping.
Perfect. Next question: what is the best piece of running advice you've ever received?
The best piece of running advice I ever received was run on feel. Run on how you feel.
Yeah.
Don't push it when you don't want to, and just run based off feel.
Okay.
It kind of makes me enjoy it a little bit more in terms of running, because a lot of the times in the early stages of my running, I'd always try to push too much, and now I'm like realizing like you don't need to push.
Yeah.
You could keep it in those lower zones and get just a greater benefit.
Yeah.
Keeping the heart rate lower and going for a lot longer. So
Great. And the last of the traditional 4 questions is, you meet someone who's just getting into running and they say, Logan, give me one piece of advice as I start my running journey.
start slow. Start slow, walk, and add in or intervals of running.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I would prefer running on the trail as a start than the concrete.
Yes.
Just to kind of get your, all your tendons and everything a little bit more of a break, at the start of your running.
Yeah.
And then instead of hopping onto the pavement. Yeah.
Perfect. So we're going to throw in 2 more questions today since we've got you here, and then we'll let you go. So first one, favorite post-run or post-race indulgence? Like you just finished a race or a hard run, and you're like, right now I just want this. Dude. What is this?
Usually it's like In-N-Out, like chocolate malt smoothie and like a double.
Nice.
Or if one time I had like chicken and waffles after, and it was amazing.
So
that was amazing.
So what I'm hearing is you want sweet and savory.
I do. I want them both. Yep. I want them both for sure.
Okay.
100%.
I respect that.
And Dad's tri-tip.
Yeah, Dad's tri-tip.
Dad's tri-tip and a Coca-Cola.
I wouldn't be mad.
Yeah, it doesn't sound terrible at all right about now. All right, and then last question for you. What's your dream race, real or fictional?
What's my dream race?
UTMB 2025.
That is true. That's definitely one of my dream races. Western States is a dream race for sure.
Yeah, that just happened.
Aren't you picking up more weight for the lottery?
I'll have 16 tickets next year. 16 tickets. So that'll be a total of like 4 years of putting in. So getting out there. Once you start getting past 16, then it starts doubling pretty good. So, and then the following year I'll have 32, and then Western States, obviously Hard Rock. Hard Rock is another one that's really hard to get into.
Where's that?
San Juan's in Colorado, like Telluride, Ouray. Those are all the dream races that every ultra endurance athlete would love. Another. Not really race, but through hike. I definitely want to get on the PCT in my life and JMT and do stuff like that. And but dream race, probably Western States for sure. Just like everybody.
Well, you just said a through hike on the PCT. Do you have a trail name? Have you been given a trail name by someone?
Dude, no, I haven't actually. So I'm waiting for that day. I haven't been given a trail name yet.
Okay. Very good.
That would be epic.
The Z-Man.
Yeah.
Logan.
Yeah.
Local legend Logan.
Yeah.
I got some names. I'm throwing them out.
Triple L. So, again, Logan, thank you so much for giving us such a big chunk of your time. This went, I think, longer than Ross and I had expected. But, when the conversation's flowing and you have so much to share and so many interesting stories, I think we all benefit from hearing these stories. And maybe after UTMB we do another one and you can maybe tell us what that whole experience was like,
post race,
reflect back on the training that went into it and how successful you felt at the race and all the other crazy stuff you're going to get into while you're traveling abroad, which I hope you do get to do some sightseeing and have some other fun.
The views in that race, I can't wait to hear about. It's going to be a cool experience.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to be out there like Ross filming the whole thing.
Let's go.
Send you clips so you could make some reels for me.
Dude, I got you, man. I'd do that in a heartbeat. Run, Logan, run.
Speaking of Instagram and socials, if people want to follow you on Instagram, what is your handle?
Yeah, it's Logan_Kurt with a K 1. That's my Instagram, and then Strava. Just look up Logan Ziegenmeyer, Logan Z, whatever, and you'll find it there. And then, or Facebook. Yeah, I'm not really usually on Facebook, but either Strava or Instagram.
No MySpace?
No, I did have a MySpace back in the day.
Don't forget to connect with the Bidwell Run Club.
Yeah.
Big shout out to BRC.
Come out, enjoy our runs Wednesday night, Tuesday women's workout. We'll get some other runs coming here soon, but come out and enjoy us, enjoy the community. Thank you guys for a great time. What you guys are doing is awesome. I love listening to the podcast, and it's always cool to highlight people in the community, and we have so many people here that it's endless.
It really is.
Endless stories and amazing journeys that people have been through. And yeah, this is just the beginning of this. So,
dude, you're a big
Awesome.
reason why, Logan. Thank you so much for inspiring, man, and doing what you do and sharing part of your story. What a treat.
Absolutely.
What an
awesome.
absolute treat, man.
One of my favorites so far for sure. And looking forward to seeing both of you gentlemen on Wednesday night when I think the forecast says 103 at about 5:30 when we start that run.
Heck yeah, bring your ice bandanas.
Can't wait for some post-run refreshers and a creek dip.
Yeah, creek dip and sparkling waters.
Thank you, Logan.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
Ross, you're headed to the ATL later this week. I'm headed out camping the week after, so it might be a couple weeks before we do this again. Safe travels.
Thank you.
Enjoy the humidity.
Yeah.
Avoid the skunks.
Yes, I was about to say. Try not to get sprayed.
Yeah, I don't know how skunks how prevalent skunks are, especially in the Magic Kingdom. So you'll probably be okay. I think Walt probably got rid of all the skunks.
There might be
down
some
there.
cartoon. Pepe Le Pew may be roaming around.
Dude, that's Looney Tunes. That's not Disney.
Damn
Get with
it.
the times.
Oh, my bad.
Flower from Bambi.
Oh, see, I have no idea.
Flower from Bambi. So, Ross, you know what we do at the end of this thing?
Yeah. Peace out. This was incredible. Huge shout out to Logan, and we
Nailed it.
let's go.